Colossal Con is about to learn the lesson 1. Never apologize to an SJW. Colossal Con at Twitter, official account for anime conventions in Sandusky, Ohio, and in the Poconos, Pennsylvania, etc. What's the problem? We wanted to start with the initial apology, but also the staffer that responded as us is no longer there. We don't take these things lightly, and we'll be continuing to right the wrong that was created. What are they talking about? You know, it's really easy to say that the staffer is no longer there. No longer there implies that they're still with your staff. What about addressing the fact that your convention has had a long-standing issue with plus-size cosplayers and POC cosplayers? Hashtag boycott Colossal Con. What about plus-size POC? Oh, never mind. Especially when you post this on your official Twitter feed in response to an incredibly flawed apology on Facebook. You don't even realize where you went wrong or what was wrong. Are you the same person from Facebook? Person running Colossal Con Twitter? Boycott Colossal Con. Colossal Con says, if possible, would you be able to tell us where this Facebook post went wrong? That's an incredibly flawed apology? That's insane. Colossal Con responds, the person has been fired. That was a wrong way to phrase that. We wanted to ask what exactly the public thought so we didn't miss anything. We asked so we could understand exactly what you thought. We have multiple people that help run our medias. What Colossal Con is doing here is they're trying to be reasonable adult people, and they assume that they're also dealing with reasonable adults. They're not. They're dealing with SJWs. You never apologize to an SJW because the apology will never be enough. You'll never be sorry enough. Once you start apologizing, they will take that as a win and use it to control you. As the example shows, maybe you should consider consolidating social media to one specific individual, name of consistency, blah, 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 blah. Spurg out suggestions for a convention that probably doesn't have a lot of extra money to be hiring people. Telling them how to run their business when they really didn't do anything wrong. Colossal Con responds, that is something that we'll take to our staff to do. You're correct, especially on social media. Having that transparency would be trust that we could give to you all. Currently, we are reorganizing our social medias, and this should be a step we take. Okay, something about them. I'm not sure who the writer is, but it doesn't sound like English is a first language, or it sounds like they're kind of young, maybe. Still, they think they're dealing with reasonable adults. Sincerely, we want to change what we had in place to make sure that this does not happen again nor molds into something else. Is there any other advice you could tell us? We want to take perspectives of everyone. If you want, you can email us if there is more than Twitter will allow. The SJW response is, it would help to produce the name of the staffer who was involved with the original sorry not sorry apology and the name of the person currently handling the damage control. From the Facebook post, it was unclear whether or not Karen is the person handling damage control or if Karen was the person responsible. Why would you need to know who the employee was? They were fired. Let them go. This is another trope of social justice warriors. Is they will burn your life down. Apology is never enough. Being fired is never enough. She wants to know the person's name because she wants to track that person to their next job and issue a poison letter and eventually get them fired from that job. Given the massive foobar that the previous Facebook social media manager incurred, I can understand some concern from said foobarer about their identity being revealed. No one wants the public to know that they're a shithead, but a first name would help clear things moving forward. I'm not sure that they were a shithead. It's possible that people make mistakes because we're human. Humans make mistakes. They apologize. They try to offer restitution, and adults move forward. But we're not dealing with adults. Karen Chaotic Horny, that is a good name, says, I mean, I'm in Australia and this is messy as hell. Especially when I was informed you allowed a trap panel, but a panel about being black and cosplaying was too far. Y'all, that's another SJW trope, y'all need to get your shit together and hire some POC and LGBT+, especially trans and non-binary people, because yikes. That's another SJW trope. Like, yikes, y'all, my guy, my dude, be better. They seem to crop up. Colossal Con responds, we did not know that the former head had accepted that panel from last year until the initial schedule went out, as we had trusted we would hold our morals. As we had trusted that he would hold our morals. We immediately fired him for that when we found out. All right, what more can you ask for? Chaotic Horny responds, okay, but this seems to be a pattern forming, so you need to actually do better, SJW trope, and a good start would be to hire more POC and LGTB plus folks in your team, so stuff like this doesn't keep happening. Colossal Con, though it does not change what had been done, 2/3 of our staff identify with the LGBT community, and though we would love to continue to grow the numbers, half of our staff are POC, including the head of programming. We will change our procedures to keep this from continuing. What more can Colossal Con possibly do? It's 2/3 are LGBT. This is I don't know what they expect them to do. Someone else is spurging out about a prior lawsuit, or that you basically have a racist POS still in your employ, or the fact you basically said if you were not white, Asian, female, or skinny, we don't care about you. It's interesting that they grouped white and Asian together. That's a growing movement. Anyway, Colossal Con responds, that person is no longer in our employment, and I apologize, but could you please elaborate on how we said we didn't care about people? Still, perfectly reasonable adult response. They continue to spurg out. We just wanted to know if this was based on the comments of the Facebook post we had fired the initial apology done, or if there's any other times that we had made anyone feel this way, so we could do what we can to amend the issues created. Clean up your whole Facebook, public relations, get some POC people in there, have a meeting, message, blah, 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 blah. Discrimination will not be tolerated. He already said that 2/3 of the staff are LGBT and half are POC. So maybe you're just spurging out over nothing. Voice of reason, a turkey or something. Number of people that will cancel their reservations, 0. Number of people that will start their own cons, 0. Number of people that will still be trending the boycott tag after 3 days, 0. Okay, they say fire your racist social media guy for one. Why did they assume it's gender? They said they did fire the person, and yet here they are posting the exact same effing bait material. What is the bait material, you ask? When Colossal Con responded, that person is no longer in our employment, and I apologize, but could you please elaborate on how we said we didn't care about people? That perfectly reasonable response caused this irrational response. That's just insane. More spurging out, why was a person allowed to have the position for as long as they did? Because humans make mistakes. You can't... it seems like they're asking for perfection. It's really weird. Okay, we wanted to start by saying we are sorry the person did not reflect our morals or intents. We put the panel on the wait list while accepting other POC panels. Not because we just want to have fun, but because there have been panels submitted before we thought would create exclusivity in a negative light, and we were afraid of that based on the description initially submitted. We were wrong. At no point have we ever strived to create a place where people would feel unwelcome. We should be a place where anyone can talk about what is important to them, from fitness to especially representation in cosplay. It was handled in a way we would never allow again. If you have any concerns, suggestions, please contact us so we can fix our mistakes in any form. Perfectly reasonable. I mean, even firing somebody for mistake seems a bit harsh. David the Strange, Spurgs out. If the event is aiming to make POC feel welcome, then real promotion of these POC-driven panels needs to be made. An apology is meaningless if you do not embrace those panels in the same way you would others. Again, we promise you, that we will promote our POC panels. We know that words are just words and plan on backing up our statements with actions like that. Okay, they're not, English is not their first language, or they're very, very young. David Sue says, don't promise me I'm not attending your event. They never accept apologies. Promise the cosplayers, blah, blah, blah. Or go someplace that isn't afraid to host POC panels. What place is afraid to host POC panels? This doesn't make any sense. POC, gay, transsexual, everyone is welcome at cosplay conventions. This is just nuts. Cosplay conventions are the most welcoming places on earth. These people are, they're talking like they're in the 40s or something. This is just bizarre. Finally, someone says they apologize and are trying to do better. If you're not attending, no one could care less about your opinion on that matter. Colossal Con says that's not true. As he is a POC, we welcome his opinion. Sweet Jesus. In the matter on representation, we also did ask that if they had any ideas on how to fix our mistakes to message. We appreciate the defense, but currently we want to give people time to speak on the matter. That's a pretty reasonable response. Jay Smith says hopeless. I don't know why that response is hopeless. It seems like a perfectly reasonable adult way to discuss an issue. Nick says, here's the passive-aggressive Facebook apology posted 20 minutes before y'all, the other trope is y'all, posted this, but go off. Colossal Con, there's some concern going around that we don't care about diversity issues. We do care. We have diversity in panels, and we have for years. Some were already accepted in 2019. A panelist received our email putting their particular diversity panel on the wait list. They emailed us back to ask why, but before we could respond, they'd already taken to the internet to begin making awful claims against us. In our response to their accusation that we have hentai panels, but not their specific panel, therefore we must not care. We made a statement where we questioned if we were even the proper forum for bigger social issues, and that many of us just want to have a good time and forget our worries. That's perfectly reasonable. It's escapist entertainment. A lot of companies seem to forget that. That response was insensitive to people whose personal struggles shouldn't simply be ignored for a weekend, and we apologize for making it. I don't think you need to apologize, and you should never apologize to SJWs. We are sincerely sorry this incident has made people feel unwelcome. The comments that were made were not a good form for any of our morals. We will continue to strive for a place that everyone feels accepted. And we hope if you have any concerns, suggestions, you will contact us so we can fix our mistakes and make Colossal Con better every year. Okay, so they bent over backwards, and it does absolutely no good. It's just a waste of time. Colossal Con says, if possible, would you be able to tell us where the Facebook posts went wrong? Sure. Let's start with the first paragraph. The classic, I'm not racist, I have black friends. If y'all, trope, have had these panels for years, why are you questioning if your con is right for these panels? The classic, I'm not racist, I have straw man, I have black friends. That seems like a hell of a straw man. if they didn't have straw man arguments, they would have no argument at all, and they have no argument here. They're literally building a castle of sand, tilting at windmills, attacking a straw man, a position that they created simply so they could knock it down. I don't understand their motivation. Well, I do understand their motivation. I think their motivation is probably serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, what other neurotransmitters that make them feel good. They're going for dopamine hits. Now let's talk about the second paragraph, where instead of just owning up to y'all's mistake, you immediately got aggressive, no they didn't, towards the individual who was rightfully upset. None of that happened. It's all public information. You can archive this or screen cap it. You can read it yourself. None of these things happened. I don't know what world they're living in. It takes 2 seconds to say, we made a mistake and we're sorry, we'll do better. That's another trope, do better. None of that extra fluff is necessary. Just own up to y'all's mistake and do better. Trope after trope. They can apologize or not apologize and say anything they want. So far, Colossal Con has responded like a normal human being would respond, and these people are just spurging out. And again, Colossal Con is feeding oxygen to a fire. If they just stopped responding, they shouldn't have responded at all. They should have just let it go, and eventually the fire would burn itself out. But every time they come back and make a reasonable response, it gives them something to latch onto. As long as you learn from your mistakes, that should be good enough. But honestly, after reading these posts, I really don't think what you said was even that bad. These people are overacting, in my opinion. No, we aren't overreacting. Yes, you are, Gringa. What the good God. Good God. The damage is done. The apologies are just words. So what do you intend to do to remedy? How do you as a convention ensure the attendance of color? Attendance of color? I think they misspelled that word. Who have already felt unwelcome for a while. Oh no, I'm sorry. Already felt unwelcome, feel welcome, safe, and part of the. Why would anyone? Clearly, we're not going to the same conventions where you think anyone is unwelcome. It doesn't matter what color you are, what sexuality you are, what cosplay character you go as. It's like cosplay is like adult Disneyland with the most tolerant. This has just not been my experience. And as Colossal Con says, they have their own POC staffers. This is just nonsense. And they ask for more suggestions. Accept the panel, fire your public relations Facebook manager, bring more POC and black cosplayers. They already said they have plenty. Never accept trap and transphobic panel. Okay, trap, tranny, those words. The under 18 crowd of SGWs thinks that those words are transphobic and somehow offensive. Trans people who are older don't give a shit. It's not an issue. You can call them tranny or trap as long as you say it with a smile on your face. These people I don't think they know any gay people, or they don't know any transsexual people. They know SGWs. They know Tumblr and Twitter. Finally, the voice of reason, Jay Smith. For fuck's sake, never apologize to SJWs. Life lesson number 1, no matter what you do, it will never be enough for these people. When you stand your ground and or ignore their faux outrage, they quickly move on to easier targets. Jesus. He's absolutely right. Cornelius Bear says, you seem lovely. That's not a response to his argument. Jay Smith uses an NPC meme, and I bet you his account will probably get nuked just for that meme. Someone dissented my opinion. Time to call them an NPC. Well, you're clearly acting like an NPC. You haven't looked at the argument. You haven't looked at both sides. You haven't assumed people are fair and reasonable and rational. You've just followed your programming. It's burged out. Jay Smith responds, hilarious. Reminds me of people who call anyone who disagrees with them a Nazi or fascist. But I bet you or people you associate with would never do that. Jay Smith, you are my hero. The only thing they can say is the response time was 3 hours later. It just doesn't even make sense. People have families, they have jobs, they have things to do. They don't spend all day on Twitter. It's an addiction, and I don't. That's not hyperbole. It literally is an addiction for people. The other voice of reason, a turkey or something, says, convention with no background and excluding people slips and wait lists a panel. Hurts my feel bads. Yeah. The issue wasn't the panel not being accepted when asked to clarify their reasons. A staff member on Facebook was extremely unprofessional and rude. No, they were just being funny. That's why people are pissed. Omar says, how rude. You Americans have a toxic understatement of professionalism. If a customer insults an employee in my country, you damn well know the employee is going to talk back, and no amount of, let me talk to your manager would save you. Pretty reasonable. Fire the staff member. Okay, they have. Oh, this is great. It's not that hard to not be an asshole, my dudes. Really not hard. The cringe of my dudes. I almost want to click on his profile and check his pronouns. I can't wait to see Colossal Con as empty as Dash Con. Y'all obviously need to put more POC on staff, especially running your social media, because yikes. That's just trope after trope after trope. However, I don't know what the cosplay is, but that's a cool flag. It's she, they, pansexual cosplayer, you, Ludi, cutie, 18 plus. Okay, well, we know where that's going. And this is a Facebook post that started it all. Do you feel that is a good basis to accept panels? We don't. ClassCon. We're a 5-day anima party. Our goal is to offer the mix of entertainment that we think will entertain the most people in our crowd. It's not an exact science, and we make mistakes regularly. If anyone ever feels that we should reconsider their panel submission, please contact us and give us an opportunity to respond. Many initially rejected panels actually end up on the schedule. If you're looking for a con dedicated to social issues, I think they made one called Dash Con. Maybe check them out. That's beautiful.